Hey guys, Mr. Backerberg here. In this video we're going to look at solving equations by finding intersections. When we're finding intersections, what we're doing is we're looking at the graph of a couple different equations and figuring out where the lines of our graphs intersect each other. So say we wanted to solve the equation the absolute value of 2x minus 1 is equal to 6. We're actually going to take each side of this equation and type them into our calculator separately. So first we're going to type in the y equals absolute value of 2x minus 1, and then as a completely separate equation we're going to type in the right hand side, which is y equals 6. So here's my calculator. We need to hit the y equals button. Now to find the absolute value we'll hit math, we'll arrow over to number, and it's this first one, ABS. That means absolute value. Okay, so inside of our absolute values, we need 2x minus 1. So that's our first equation. Then we arrow down to our next equation, and that one is just 6. So we're trying to figure out where these two equations are equal to each other. So we're going to graph it out. And again, we said we were looking for the intersection. So we're looking for where our graphs cross each other. And there are two places where these graphs meet. We've got that blue absolute value V-shaped graph and our horizontal line at 6. So we've got an intersection on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. To find those intersections, we're going to use our calculate option. So we're going to go second trace. And option number 5 is intersect. As we're looking at our graphs, there's two intersection points. So I'm going to start with this one on the left-hand side. So I'm going to arrow left over to it. Now it asks us for our first curve. So we want to make sure that we're on our absolute value graph, our blue graph. I hit enter. Then it asks us for our second curve, so I make sure that it's switched over to my red graph. Hit enter. We can take a guess, but we don't have to. We can just hit enter one more time. So the first intersection point is at x equals negative 2.5, y equals 6. Meaning that the x value there is negative 2.5. So that's one of the solutions. Now if we want to find that other solution, we're going to have to hit second calc and then intersect one more time, so option number 5. Now to get the other intersection point, I'm going to have to move my cursor over closer to that point. First curve, just like we did before, make sure that I'm on my absolute value graph. So I'm going to arrow over just a little bit to show that we are on that V-shaped graph. Hit enter, then make sure it switches to the other curve that we're looking at, so that horizontal line. Hit enter. Again, we can take a guess, but we don't need to. We can just hit enter one more time. So there's another intersection point at x equals 3.5, y equals 6. So at 3.5, we also have a solution. So going back to our equation where we've got the absolute value of 2x minus 1 equals 6, there was two answers. One of them was at x equals negative 2.5, and the other one was at x equals 3.5. So those two x values are the solutions to this equation. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching.